Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the Bunkered Podcast in association with Callaway. I'm Michael McEwen and it is PGA Championship preview time. The second men's major of the season is upon us. Only about 4 weeks since the last one. Still celebrating Rory McIlroy's incredible history-making accomplishment at the Masters, but it's time for another major. Will he do it again? Will Jordan Spieth join him in the career Grand Slam club? John Ram, Brooks Koepka, Scottie Scheffler, all these guys also going for major glory, and we will be discussing that on today's episode. So hello, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening in the traditional means, hello, welcome. Thank you very much for sticking us in your ears. Equally, this episode is available to watch on YouTube. So if you're watching along right now, hello, this is what we look like. Sorry about that. We don't have a huge budget, so hair and makeup, not really the top priorities. You're just going to have to deal with it, all right? But at least you've got all these lovely things round about to distract yourself with, including these two fine gentlemen to my left.
Thanks, you.
Bunkered gear editor and performance editor, James Tate, Lewis Fraser. Hello. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, doing good, thank you.
Excellent.
Very well.
Been playing a lot of golf recently.
You have been playing a lot of golf,
yeah.
Lewis. What's that about?
Well,
Imagine someone working for a golf media brand playing a lot of golf.
It is shocking. It doesn't happen as much as people might think. I was in Tunisia a couple of weeks back. That was cool.
I mean, that's just taking a massive left turn straight away. People going, playing a lot of golf, all right, very Tunisia, what?
Yeah, I know. Understandable reaction. They don't have that many golf courses over there, but they're trying to sort of raise the profile. I believe it's 9.
Oh, no, okay.
Certainly less than 10.
It's about 8 more than I thought they would have.
Yeah, true. And I've played 2 of them now.
Excellent.
So,
good time?
Brilliant. Yeah, amazing. At Golf Citrus is the golf club. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 courses out there. Lost quite a few golf balls because it is narrow, like proper tight. The jungle just sort of encapsulates everything.
The jungle.
Yeah.
I'd lose a few balls as well.
Yeah, you'd have lost a lot of golf balls, mate.
All right.
Easy.
But yeah, brilliant.
Calm down.
Brilliant time.
Excellent. And what about you, James? You've got your first tournament of the year coming up this week, so you'll miss a fair chunk of the PGA because you're going to be whereabouts competing.
So I'm going to be in Germany. So it's about an hour kind of northwest of Hamburg. So yeah, got my first long drive tournament this coming weekend.
What's the title of the event? Just the European Long Drive Games? Or does it have some better name than
it's the European Long Drive Games at, I can't remember the name of the golf club. It's
following
the
LIV
naming
convention.
It's basically the European Long Drive Games opening event at like Golf Am something in German.
Golf Am something in German. Right, okay.
But
you're very well prepared, I can tell.
I've been more focusing on where the ball's going rather than where I'm going, to be fair. But it's been going really well. I'm probably at the fastest I've ever been, to be fair.
How fast we talking?
227, almost 228 mile per hour balls.
Jesus, that's 3 times Lewis.
That is at least a good day.
So so it's going really well. The preparation's been decent. I reckon it could have been a little bit better, but feeling quietly confident going into this weekend.
Quietly confident. So, very good.
We'll leave it at that.
And you've won these tournaments before, haven't you? You're like a serial winner by this stage.
Yeah, so I won twice last year. I won the first two. I won 2 out of 4 basically.
Okay.
So I didn't do too badly, and then ended up doing okay at World Champs. But
and that's where it all leads.
That's where it all goes to.
Where's the World Champs this year?
It's in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, right. Oh,
nice.
Right. Altitude.
So it's going to go absolutely miles.
502 yard winning drive.
Guys have hit balls like in that kind of in those conditions before, like 480 or plus yards.
Downhill, downwind, on a runway.
I don't actually think. I think it's more. There's probably a little bit of a wind, but if you think the ball's in that air for so long, it just goes absolutely miles. Which is why they call it the Mile High Showdown.
Is that what it's called?
That's a better name than the German one you're going.
In German.
yeah. But no, that's what they used to call it when they held it in Denver.
The Mile High Golf Showdown.
So the Mile High Showdown is what they used to call it. But obviously it's world champ, so it'll just be called world champ.
There's so many jokes coming to mind.
Yeah.
Right now. It's a mile high showdown.
Let's keep it clean.
Yes. Let's try. And listeners, do not neglect the listeners.
Yeah.
One thing saying,
sorry
listeners,
viewers,
remember.
listeners. Sorry about that.
Jeez.
Sorry, listeners.
So you probably noticed not been around for a couple of weeks. There's been a lot going on. Apologies. We've had holidays with Lewis in Tunisia. And I was actually, I'll level with everyone. I went for a new job last week and I didn't get it. So listen, good luck to Leo. I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job, but disappointed to miss out. I really fancied my chances.
You're unlucky there. Yeah, I can't believe
hit
they
the
didn't go
post.
for you.
I
Yeah.
know. What would be your papal name, Lewis?
God, I have no idea. Pope Short Drives,
Yes.
maybe. Yeah.
James.
Oh God.
The opposite of that.
The opposite of that, probably. Yeah. Mr. El Popo Londravo.
El Popo.
Yeah.
So it's now a Spanish Pope. Right, okay. I reckon I would be Pope Augustus National or probably Pope name drop.
Name
drop.
drop.
Pope name
Pope
drop.
name drop the first.
The name dropper.
Brilliant.
Quite
Brilliant.
bad for that one. But yeah, listen, good luck to Leo.
Mhm.
Big
First,
job in his
first
hands.
American Pope. I would have thought they would have had someone taking the reins before now.
Well, you say that, but I mean, the papacy's been around for centuries. America, not so much.
Yeah, good point.
It's a fairly
Yeah, that's a good
recent
shout.
addition,
Yeah.
isn't it? But yeah, interesting to see what
Yeah.
happens next. I love all that stuff.
Mhm.
The pomp and ceremony and
The black smoke
circumstance
and white smoke and all that.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine they
Quite
had
cool,
that
isn't
for
it?
like the Ryder Cup or something. They were able to bring some of that into it.
They've not been able to make a decision on who the captain is.
Yeah.
The smoke goes up again.
Vote again, lads. Vote again. Oh, white
Brilliant.
smoke. Brilliant. It's McGinley. Anyway, right. We have a lot to discuss. Like I said at the top of the show, it is the PGA Championship preview. I'm resisting the urge to call it the US PGA Championship because we have American listeners and they do get really upset about that. So, no, we'll go with the PGA Championship taking place at the Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina this week. And there's a lot to discuss, starting with the big question right after this.
The Bunkered Podcast, brought to you by the new Elite Driver from Callaway.
Okay, thank you, Callaway, for your continued support. The big question this week, gents, and this could have been any number of questions, to be totally fair.
Mhm.
But the big question we're asking is, can Jordan Spieth follow Rory McIlroy into the CGS Club, which is Career Grand Slam for those
Nice.
not following along. Obviously, we know what Rory did at Augusta last week. Last month.
Come on.
It feels like last week.
Yeah.
Feels like last week. But last month, obviously, Rory made legitimate sporting history, only the 6th male golfer to complete the Career Grand Slam. Jordan Spieth can join him and become the 7th, for those keeping count, with a win at the PGA this week. James, how much of a chance do you give old Spiethy?
I mean, there's a very small outside chance, I think. But listen, I mean, it took Rory a while to obviously get his over the line. It might be Jordan Spieth's week. Who knows? I think he's definitely been playing a lot better, more consistent. Anyway, he's making
By his standards.
yeah, exactly. And I think, we have seen him kind of in the top 10s a lot more than probably what we have in recent years. I mean, he's not won on the PGA Tour, I think, for coming up to, must be about 4 years now.
His last win, in fact, was the RBC Heritage, April 2022. So
Yeah.
just over 3 years.
So I think, it would be, it's a big ask, but I mean, I think even, not obviously not this weekend, but even previous weekends, you saw him put a really good, solid performance in, good score, low score. When he gets streaky, he's really impressive,
Mhm.
but it's just so inconsistent. You just don't really know what you're going to get from him. But look, I'm not going to rule it out. I mean, I said to Lewis in the office, I was like, there's no chance in hell. And then I watched him over the weekend and I was like, there's maybe a glimmer of hope there. Like the door's not fully shut, but it's
small glimmer.
it's slightly ajar. But yeah, look, I think
Tied 34th at the Truist Championship for those wondering. He was 4 under par. So 12 shots off the winning score posted by Sepp Straka. A lot of work to do. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. There's some positive signs starting to emerge. He was 4th, obviously, at the CJ Cup last week. RBC Heritage tied 18th. The Masters, tied 14th. Valero Texas Open before that, he was tied 12th. So you're right. I mean, we're starting to see some encouraging signs. What we're not seeing is, to your point, that level of consistency or even contending at the moment.
Yeah.
Lewis, I can't remember the last time I looked at a golf broadcast on a Sunday night, at any time on a Sunday night, saw Jordan Spieth in the mix.
Yeah, you're right. He is posting good finishes, but you're right, just not quite been in contention yet. There's something just not quite clicking for him. This week, a realistic chance? No, why not? I mean, he is playing really well. If it was anyone else and you looked at his form, you would think, okay, use the T word here, but they are trending somewhat. Sorry.
Sound the klaxon, stick a pound in the jar.
Yeah. But there's a realistic chance. I just don't think he drives the ball well enough to win Quail Hollow. He said it himself, this is Rory McIlroy Country Club, which points to how
says it all, really, doesn't it?
How well Rory does there, but how well you have to drive the ball around this course, and that's just not really been one of Spieth's strengths throughout his whole career. He's won events because he putts really well, and things just aren't quite clicking the way that they have in the past for him. He's playing much better than what he has been, but I would be surprised if he did win. He's got a chance, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah, listen, I can't see it happening, to be totally honest. I don't even think he's really in the conversation. We've just inserted him in the conversation. But how many other people are talking about Jordan Spieth right now as even an outside contender for the PGA this week? What's really interesting to me is, since he won the Open in 2017, the third leg of the career Grand Slam, he's only won twice on tour since then. The Texas Open in 2021, and like I said, the RBC Heritage in 2022. But here's his PGA Championship finishes since he's had a chance of completing the career Grand Slam. So 2018 was his first shot at it, tied 12th. Then we go to 19, he was tied third. You're like, okay, this could happen. COVID year 2020, tied 71st. Was that Harding Park, Colin Morikawa?
Yes.
So basically last of those that made the cut. Now look at this though, more recently. Tied 30th, tied 34th, tied 29th, tied 43rd. This is exactly what we're talking about with Jordan Spieth, a guy who's going to make cuts, but contending, not even a glimmer of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Rory with the Masters, people will say, oh, he had some good years and some bad years. Yeah, what he wasn't was completely bang average, middle of the road, which is where Jordan Spieth is right now. So I'm struggling to see it happen. I guess, James, the thing that you might take a little bit of confidence from is there's probably less talk about him completing the career Grand Slam than there was about Rory. And now Rory's just done it. We could get a London buses to come along at one scenario where, I suppose people are still celebrating what Rory did. I know I am. And Spieth just somehow backdoors a win and joins him in the club.
Yeah. I mean, there's every chance that could happen. Like, all eyes are on Rory, really, aren't they? So it could be like, right, okay, well, if I might just go around and handle business and post a couple good scores, and then all of a sudden he's right up there in the mix, and then you just need obviously 2 solid scores. Yeah. And then you're picking up a trophy on Sunday. Sounds really easy when I say that.
Yeah, but easy. Why don't you just do that all the time?
I know, I should just do it all the time. It's that easy. But look, he's got an outside chance, and it's a very small outside chance, I think, for me. I know you can look at his previous records, and it would suggest that he just makes cuts and doesn't really pose a threat whatsoever. But I think when it's going to be very much the Rory McIlroy show, which I think everyone's kind of expecting, he might slowly just kind of, wriggle his way upstream, shall we say, into the kind of, the top part of the leaderboard.
Okay, we will see. Lewis, finally on Spieth before we move on. So you say he doesn't drive the ball particularly well. That's what he needs to get right this week to have any sort of hope, I think, in terms of the technical. But for me, it's a little bit like Rory in the past as well with the Masters. Spieth's got a real mental block, not specifically about the PGA. I mean, Rory's mental block was around the Masters. Yeah. Spieth's mental block seems to be Spieth himself.
Yes.
Just, he's always in his own head. He's always chatting. He's you know what? He's like and this is going to sound terrible. He is a club amateur who has somehow made it onto tour.
Yeah.
He's capable of producing the most bang average swings that get the most incredible results.
I think that's why people enjoy watching him to an extent, because he does look like a 12 handicapper at times. And then he in the best possible way, and then you'll shoot 2 or 3 under par and you think, how have you done that? Yeah. He hits the ball in some ridiculous places. We saw it when he won the Open. Like he was on the driving range for about half an hour during the 12th or 13th hole.
Mm-hmm.
So that is part of the reason that people enjoy watching him so much. But you're right, like Michael Greller gets it in the ear all the time.
Constantly.
Because, and sometimes it works for him, but you do just think, you know, if Spieth can get out of his way every so often and just play, he's going to be better. But when he's clearly not quite firing on all cylinders, then he does just seem to get a bit down on himself.
50-1 with the bookies this week. The American bookmakers, that is, Jordan Spieth. So fairly long odds. And when was the last time you ever saw a poor bookie? So I don't gamble. If I did, certainly wouldn't be putting it on Mr. Spieth. He can do it, absolutely, but he's not going to do it. And if he does, I will wear a Celtic strip to the next podcast.
Will you seriously?
Well, it's out there now, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Jesus. Can't exactly take that back. Lewis, again, like recent PGAs, I mean, we spoke about this a number of years on the Bunker podcast. The very first ever episode we did was that COVID era where we were previewing the one at Harding Park. And every year since, we've kind of asked the same question, which is the PGA Tour, the PGA Championship battling a bit of an identity crisis because it's never really had its place. The Masters is the Masters, clearly. It's got the aura, it's got the allure, the romance. The US Open is the toughest one. The Open is the oldest, and it has obviously its own identity by being the only one in the UK or outside Europe, outside the US, the only one played on a links course. It kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
The PGA's always felt like it's battling to try and establish its own identity. But I kind of feel, though, that in recent years, recent PGAs have arguably been the best major of the year. Recent additions have been absolutely fantastic. So would you agree? And what are you expecting out of this week?
Yeah, it's a strange one, but they have been really good tournaments. You look at them, there's been excitement. No one sort of ran away with a PGA for a long time, as far as I can remember. I think that kind of comes down to right now, because we have sort of fractions of the golf world and that there's different tours. This is true for every major, but the PGA is all about being the strongest field. And that you have every golfer, every top golfer on the planet coming together, playing against each other. And that just creates a lot of excitement because we don't see it a lot. But that's created some brilliant tournaments. I think we're going to see that again. You look at like the Masters with Bryson sort of in contention up against Rory. You don't see that ever now apart from the majors. See it again at the PGA. I can see us seeing that again at the PGA with live players coming back. And I think just having that strong field, players that we don't see playing against each other, just creates such excitement. Why that's happened in the past, I mean, again, when you have the best players playing against each other all the time, that's just going to, or not all the time, but in majors, it just creates that sort of different level of excitement. We've been lucky in recent years with some really good events. So hopefully same again this time.
Good stuff. James, kind of following on that point there that Lewis has just made. So what's the secret to winning a PGA Championship? What do you need to do well? For me, it feels like go deep and make a lot of birdies is the number one goal because it's more like a PGA Tour event than I would say any of the other majors.
Yeah, it's very kind of just, hoist it high and drop, try and drop it close. So yeah, and I think that's why you see a lot of Americans do very well because they just brought up playing that just like up and down kind of style of golf, especially on those approach shots. But yeah, I think with a PGA Championship, it is all about like iron play. Obviously, hitting fairways is priority as well. But if you drive the ball, get the ball on the green, full putts, like you're going to do obviously very well. But I think the guys who have got the best approach play are the ones who are going to make a lot of birdies, and that is what's going to be key. I think this obviously this week.
Okay. So that sounds like Rory McIlroy to me, if I'm being completely honest.
If I had to choose right now, it would probably be between Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler.
Oh, the top two players in the world.
Shock.
What a shock.
Yeah, what a shock.
I mean, Rory, Lewis, let's talk about him for a bit. Back in the major winning groove now.
Yes.
Obviously got that monkey off his back and all those other terrible cliches. But those vibes that he's carrying from the Masters, I mean, he doesn't look like a guy that's suddenly put the sandals on and put his feet up. I mean, he's played pretty well since then, the couple of times that he's started. Is it too much to ask for him to go back to back?
This is the perfect place to do it. I don't think it is too much to ask because he, like you say, he looks relaxed now, but not to the point where he's sort of not trying. You know, you watched him playing with Shane Lowry, like he sort of looked like the shackles are off and he's just going to play normal golf with a smile on his face. Zurich Classic, yeah. And yeah, I don't think it is too much to ask because he's coming into this to a place that he absolutely loves. He's playing brilliant golf, clearly. There's no real pressure on him now. So no, I honestly I wouldn't be massively shocked if he went and won again, genuinely, because he's playing so good. And he's won 4 times around here.
4 times, isn't it?
Yeah. 4. So
that's decent.
That is pretty decent. Like that.
It's okay.
You can't really understate how big that is coming back to a place where you've done so well. If he was going to somewhere that it's caused him problems in the past, not that there's many places that do that for Rory McIlroy, but Quail Hollow clearly somewhere that he loves. So no, I don't think it is too much to ask for him to win 2 majors in a row, which is crazy to say. But yeah, I don't see why not.
Obviously, a win this week, James, would move him on to 6 major championships in total, pulling him level with Sir Nick Faldo. Obviously, and then after that, you've just got Harry Vardon, who won 7 majors way back when. We kind of talked about this in the last episode, this Masters debrief, if you want, where we said, you know, is Rory now the greatest European golfer of all time? And you know what, we were all excited. We were all, you know, up there with him on cloud 9. Now that a bit of time has passed, dust is settled and whatnot, where do you stand on it? Is Rory the greatest? Does he need 1 more, 2 more? Is he already there? Where's your head at?
I think he's already there. I think if he gets another couple, he just kind of solidifies that, to be honest. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like Lewis was saying, he's playing a little bit more freer now, and you can see he looks like he's enjoying himself. Like the post rounds interview he had last night, he just looks so relaxed.
So relaxed.
And I was just, I couldn't
like
believe
a weight's been lifted off his, well, I suppose it has, but a weight's been lifted off his shoulders.
And the way he was talking, he just said, it's like, yeah, I hit good putts, didn't really drop, could have drove the ball a little bit better, but, you know, and then he was talking about going into Quail Hollow. Yeah. And then he just said, you know, this course, there's not so many kind of points to kind of aim at, which I struggle with, but Quail Hollow is different. And I find I can, you know, I've got a lot more targets to aim at and kind of focus on. So he just seemed quite relaxed, but dialed in at the same time. And when you've got someone like that, that is a person to fear. They are going to be very dangerous.
One person that's not going to be afraid of him, I shouldn't have thought, is Scottie Scheffler. Lewis, since the Players' Championship where he finished 20th, I'll be honest, at that time I was thinking, oh, this could be a long old year for Scottie relative to last year. Yeah. Given, I mean, we all know what he did in 2024. We all know how 2024 ended for him with that accident on Christmas Day. A reminder, don't have ravioli for your Christmas dinner. You get what you deserve. But yeah, I was watching him at the Players at TPC Sawgrass, and I thought, not quite the same guy. Yep. Since then, Houston Open, tied 2nd. The Masters, 4th. RBC Heritage, tied 8th. CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, won it.
Yes, by how many shots? By 8 in the end, was it?
Oh, God, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 8. So he absolutely romped it. 31 under par.
Yeah.
At TPC Craig Ranch. Craig Ranch? I'm fairly sure I went to school with Craig Ranch. I'm almost certain I went to school with a Craig Ranch.
And then he went and designed the golf course.
Insane.
Well, yeah, good on him. Yeah. Congrats, Craig.
31 under par is disgusting.
It is. And I guess it kind of makes me rethink where I am with Scottie Scheffler. He has had a little blip.
Yeah.
He's had a wee accident.
It's not even a blip, though. It's just for Scottie Scheffler standards. It's a blip, isn't it?
What I mean was the ravioli incident. I mean, he's done himself a
That was a blip, yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, me getting a scalp gardening. I'm not going to garden again the next day.
Oh, my azaleas.
Later, my azaleas are looking great again. The roses are pruned. So Scottie, for me, is arguably he's arguably more likely to win this week, I think, than Rory McIlroy. Regardless of how great Rory's playing, Scottie for me looks like the out-and-out favourite. However, only 2 majors to his name. Hasn't won a PGA Championship yet. What does he need to do differently this week to get across the line?
I don't think he needs to start trying to do things differently, to be honest. He needs to just do what he did when he won by 8 shots. It is so relative to Scottie because you look at last year and it's incredible. He was never going to, you know, compete with what he did there because he won so many times. doing things differently. He just needs to keep putting himself in contention, really. Like, I think he'll be up there. I think Rory's just got that slight edge on him at the moment, just purely because of the golf course and the history that Rory has there. But Scheffler, in terms of doing things different, hole a few more putts, maybe. He hits so many greens in regulation, like his ball striking's incredible. It maybe seems like he misses a few more putts than he should. So if he's going to win, then that's what needs to go right. But clearly at the CJ Cup, that did go well for him. So if he carries that on, he will definitely be up there. But for him, it's all about, you look at last year, he's not going to do that every single year. So when he's sort of finishing...
You say that.
Well, no.
You could be sitting here wearing a Celtic kit in a few weeks' time.
Absolutely
if you're not.
I'm not making bets like that. So, yeah, he just needs to let a few more putts drop. It's not rocket science for him. He doesn't need to reinvent what he's doing because he could have panicked at the start of the year, but he's not done that. He's come back. We know how good he can be on his day. So I am expecting him to be up there, but I just don't think he'll quite be.
Yeah, James, if you look at his recent major record, this is going to scare a few people, I think. Top 10 in 8 of his last 11 majors. He has played in 21 majors so far and has missed the cut, as far as I can tell, twice. He's okay at this thing, isn't he?
Yeah. You know, that's unbelievable.
His PGA record, so made his debut in 2020, COVID. I mean, that's wild in itself. That was his PGA debut. Only his third major start. He was tied 4th. 2021, tied 8th. He missed the cut in 2022. What a chopper. And since then, 23, he finished tied for 2nd, and last year tied for 8th. It kind of feels like there's an inevitability about him putting his name on the Wanamaker trophy.
Yeah, I think you look at what he's done in the last month, and you're like, this is a guy who's probably coming into a bit of peak Scottie Scheffler at the right time, I would say. He struggled with the driver a little bit at the start of the year. I think he started to get that dialed back in. And as we know, Scottie Scheffler, when it comes to his iron play, it's ridiculously good, which is then going to give him more opportunities for birdie. As we know, sometimes the putter can get a little bit cold, but even then, his putting has improved since switching into, the Spider Tour. So I can really see him doing some damage at this PGA Championship for sure. So
okay, let's not make any predictions just yet about who's going to win. That's why we have Podder of Merit, quite frankly, coming up in part 2. Let's look at some of the other contenders then. There's obviously a bunch of players in the field who are still looking for their first major championship victory. We've spoken about Spieth going for Grand Slam success. We've spoken about Rory going for his 6th. We've spoken about Scheffler trying to add to his haul. But of the players in the field, Lewis, who are looking for their first major win, who do you think's most likely to do it this week and why?
Ludwig Ober is the obvious choice. I'm sure we're probably all thinking the same thing. Like he just does everything so well. You look at his golf swing and think, how on earth can anything go wrong with that? I don't know how it can. He stands over the ball for about 2 seconds, pulls the trigger, and usually...
That's what I love about him the most, is just how...
rapid.
There's no bullshit. Just peg the ball up, look at it, swing, go, bang. Find ball, do the same again.
Yeah, some players stand over it and you think, I wonder what's going through their head right now. Is there like negative thoughts seeping in or anything? With Ludwig, there's no time for that at all. He just sees the ball, like you say, hits it, and then goes it.
Might be something in that, by the way.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it could be.
More people should try that.
Maybe that's why he does it.
Maybe,
Just to like not get any negative thoughts. Just like, right, cool, there's a shot, bang, execute. That's it.
Yeah, Ludwig is, the clear, if you're looking at first time major champion, he's the clear favourite for that. I was actually looking at Sepp Straka as well.
Why not?
Yeah, funnily enough, won last night. Again, someone who hits his irons so well. Seems like he doesn't really get flustered under pressure. Got a real complete game. I think he's due a big win. I'm not sure he'll go back to back in consecutive weeks, but
why not? 2 wins in the PGA Tour already this year, and
pretty
much a lock, I would say, right now for the European Ryder Cup.
Yeah, he definitely is. Yep. He will be on the Ryder Cup team. Yeah, why not? It's a big ask for him to go back-to-back wins, but out of first-time potential champions, he's certainly up there. But
world number 9 now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Inside the world's top 10. Started the year 36th. I mean, listen, OWGR is nonsense. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's nice to have. It's nice to look at. it's not a reflection of who the best players in the world are, because
No.
if I search for Bryson, he's down in 15th, and I'm struggling to see him.
No, he's top.
Excuse
10,
me, outside the top
all
10.
day.
Yeah, no.
James, what about you? Of the other first-time major winners,
I mean,
Who could it be?
Lewis has said them all. For me, like, it is an obvious choice, but I mean, Ludwig Goldberg, he is the full package, isn't he? Let's be honest. Like, what he does and has done in his only 2 Masters appearance is just ridiculous.
It's insane, yeah.
But I just think he's just got such a bright future ahead of him. And I think, for someone who does drive the ball well, is great iron play, and is box office as well. He hits some phenomenal shots. I think he's a very exciting talent, and I think he's probably the next young and upcoming superstar to win a major for sure. But yeah, for me, I think that's just a standout. I don't really see anyone else.
I mean, Victor Hovland's got to be in the conversation as well.
Yeah.
He seems to have turned a wee bit of a corner again with his game. Mav McNeely's a really interesting one for me.
He is.
He's playing great. And Russell Henley just strikes me as the archetypal PGA Championship winner. You know, it's, as I said earlier, this is not a million miles removed from a PGA Tour event. And he's obviously won on the PGA Tour already this year, I think. So, yeah, I wouldn't look too far past somebody like Russell Henley. Equally, Tommy Fleetwood. Be amazing to see him.
I'm going to throw another name in there, actually.
Oh, go on.
Corey Connors.
Yeah, really good shout. Really good shout.
Just with the way he's been playing this season, and obviously he's grown up playing that kind of style of golf as well. It probably suit his game as well.
Yeah.
I reckon that could be a good outside shout.
Nearly.
Yeah, you saved it. Well done.
Yeah,
I know.
Fleetwood's interesting for me. Tied 21st at the Masters, RBC Heritage. He was 7th, and then the Truist Championship at the weekend, tied for 4th. It's your favourite word.
It
again,
is.
Lewis.
It's
Go
not
for
my
it.
favourite word. I just
You're the one that's used it
He is
already.
trending, yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
trending.
Fleetwood's an interesting one, isn't it? Because, there's the obvious thing about him not winning out in the States. It's tough. It's going to happen at some point, but you just feel like, when is that going to be? Is it going to be a major championship? Is it going to be one where it's the biggest stage and he's going to do it? It's just hard to pinpoint that with him at the moment, because clearly I don't think he's doing anything particularly wrong. It's just not quite happened for him. It's tricky to put a finger on.
It might not happen this week, but it will happen this season.
It's going to happen
I'm
this
prepared,
season.
I'm prepared to put my neck on the line there.
Okay.
Put my neck on the block, so to speak. Speaking of blocks,
Nice.
look at that. Michael Block back in the field this week. I mean, listen, it's not all that long ago since he amazed us all with what he did. Was it Oak Hill?
Yes.
Oak Hill, was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
The hole-in-one next to Rory. And he became a bit of a...
A viral sensation.
Yeah. He lived the golf life of Solomon Grundy there, didn't he? Where it was just everything happened all at once, and then it seemed that a lot of people turned on him. Now, I've met Michael Block a couple of times. I think he's a really cool guy. I think he's a good guy. And I'm kind of morbidly fascinated by what the block party might look like as it rolls into Charlotte. Charlotte's a party town. I mean, a block party. It just feels like it's all lined
Makes
up.
sense.
It does. But is it too much to hope, James, that we can see a little bit more of Michael Block's heroics this week?
Yeah. I think it was. I'm not saying it was a fluke, but he definitely was.
You're saying he's a club pro for a reason?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, he obviously, these guys who are club pros, they can play golf.
Yeah.
And he's obviously just had, when he had his Oak Hill, heroics, it was literally, he was just in that groove and he just couldn't do anything wrong. And it's quite refreshing, obviously, as a viewer to watch someone who not many people know of or have heard of just come out of the woodwork and put on a performance like that. Is it a kind of once and then never to happen again? I don't want to say it, but probably.
But I mean, he's qualifying for it, so he's obviously good enough.
Yeah. But
it's not like he's just been handed invites.
No, I know, but
he's not Webb Simpson.
Fair. But I do think we're not going to see that same kind of level than what we've already seen, unfortunately, as much as it would be great to
so
see
you're not
again.
a believer in the block?
No.
No, I'm not a believer. Well, a believer in the block in some that's good. I like that. I don't think we'll see the same heroics as we did out in Oak Hill, but you're right. He has qualified for it. Clearly, out of the PGA pros that are playing, sort of run-of-the-mill guys who might work in a shop from day to day. I'm not saying Michael Block does that.
Mars
now,
bar
but
salesman. That's
that's what I was getting at. I was trying to get around it. But out of those guys in the field, he's clearly one of the better players. So good on him for getting back in. He could have easily, after what he did at Oak Hill, said, "Yeah, this is me. I'm done here. Like I'm just gonna not bother doing this anymore." But he's clearly got that fire. He wants to try and keep playing, and why not? He's done well in the past, but yeah, I think he's clearly had a week where everything has just gone incredibly well for him. It would be a big ask for him to do that again. I think he'll be happy to be there. He'll enjoy the experience.
Happy to be there. Oh my God.
Give him a participation medal.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Good on him.
How are you feeling? I'm happy to be here.
He's playing a PGA Championship. It's brilliant.
What do you think, Michael?
I mean, the romantic in me really wants to see him do well. I think well for Michael Block is going to be making the cut, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anything beyond that. Is he going to have a hole-in-one next to Rory McIlroy again? No, probably. The likelihood of that is incredibly small. But top 15? Why the hell not?
Yeah.
He's a good player. And those club pros in America, I mean, they're not your typical old-fashioned view of what a club pro might look like, where he's got to try and figure out if he's going to stock Bootjoy this week or whatever other apparel next week. These guys are essentially full-time golfers. And some of them are. Michael Block certainly is.
That's a good point.
He seems to just coach and play. It's not like he's logging hours in the pro shop.
No.
So, yeah, I think he's a seriously good golfer. Clearly, I don't think top 15 is out with the realms of possibility. He's done it once. Why not twice?
Yeah, good point.
It wasn't a fluke. What he did wasn't the hole-in-one was the fluke. That was the bit of luck. But everything else, he played incredibly good golf for 72 holes.
The thing is, he has played PGA Tour events after that and had quite a solid year in terms of for his standards. So yeah, you're right. Like he could go and have another brilliant week. I don't think it's going to quite reach the same levels, but yeah.
Your lack of faith is troubling.
Sorry.
Listen, we could talk about the PGA for another hour, but time is running away from us. We'll talk a little bit more about it again in part 2 when it comes to picks and so on. For now, gents, before we get to the break, we've got to go to Asked and Answered, our relatively new addition to the pod, where I am going to read out the answer to a question and you have got to figure out what the question is. This week, if the answer is 1.8 billion, what is the question? Whilst you guys are thinking about that, some suggestions from our followers on social media. Craig Meikle, is it the amount Patrick Cantley has asked Liv to pay him? Probably not far off. Ben Grant, how many times a season do Liv fanatics talk about the PGA Tour? There's a lot of that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's their favourite subject, it would seem. Tracy Clark, how many press-ups does Gary Player do a week?
Very good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's at the low end of the scale, I would have said. Michael O'Regan, what would Ted Scott's earnings be if Scottie Scheffler had moved to Liv?
Wow.
Maybe. There's a real Liv theme to this one. Stuart Bendoris, what is the cheapest ticket price for the Ryder Cup at Bethpage? I noticed actually good. Last week they've done a thing, haven't they, in the States where they're basically giving away free tickets.
Yeah, I did see that.
To New York residents.
Yeah.
Which, that's very nice and all, but look where you price the tickets to begin with.
Somewhere in between free and the initial pricing would be good.
Yes, the streets won't forget. The streets of Brooklyn in this case. Stuart Cormack, is it the number of times Michael has mentioned playing Augusta National?
Probably close to it, Stuart. Yeah.
Take a bow, Stuart.
Not far away. Not far away. Craig Patrick, how many times have I shouted fuck after hitting a bad shot? Craig, you're playing a lot of golf, if that is indeed the case.
Or you're hitting a lot of shots.
Yeah, well.
And Graham, oh Jesus Christ, Graham Marr. The amount of times a day that Michael McEwen thinks about Adam Scott. Yes, can confirm. 1.8 billion is pretty much it. None of those, I'm stunned, and I'm sure you will share my surprise, are the right question, gentlemen. What about you? Any thoughts on what it could be?
How many DMs does Sydney Sweeney get in a day?
From you?
Don't tell anyone.
Sydney Sweeney, yeah, possibly.
Maybe it probably will be quite
Why
close
not?
to that. The bots that you get on Instagram these days probably not far off 1.8 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a joke.
Combination of bots, James.
It's
got a
Why am I getting?
You brought her up.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's why.
You're welcome.
Right, semi-serious one here.
Oh,
is
fine.
it?
there's always one.
Is it the number of golf balls that are lost per year around the world? 1.8 billion.
That is
A lot.
such a good suggestion, Lewis.
Thank you.
Brought the mood down.
It may be right,
Oh,
but I don't know. It's not.
Okay.
It's not the right question.
Must
for
be
this
about
one.
that.
1.8 billion.
Yeah. How many rounds of the?
Gonna need to see you're working on that.
Yeah, I think there's about.
James
go
is
on.
googling
Yeah,
it right now.
Bill
That
time. What
thump you
James
can hear
Googles.
is James typing.
Many golf
It'd be
balls
louder
are
if
lost
Lewis
a
was
year.
typing.
Here we go.
How
Enter.
many golf balls?
300.
300 million.
God, not even close.
You're a little
Sorry.
bit
Wait.
off there.
That's,
I thought it'd be more than
amazing,
that.
by the way.
Yeah.
So, what's your question that you put in?
That's a
How
U-
many golf balls are lost in a year?
That's in the US.
Oh, US
alone.
alone.
On the
Right,
US
okay.
alone,
All
300
right.
million.
So you're telling me there's a
By
chance?
the
Yeah.
way, Lewis, that's not far
Could be
off
onto
if
something
that's
here.
global.
Right.
Bear in mind, the majority of golf was probably played in the US, so you're still miles away.
All right.
It's not the
Probably
right
like
answer.
Sorry.
It's a great suggestion, but it's wrong.
Damn it.
The correct answer, unless either of you fancy going again. No,
No.
James is just
Oh,
pointing at his
no,
screen
sorry.
because that makes for great
Uh-huh.
audio.
Sorry.
No, I'll tell you. Let's get this and we'll move on. The the correct answer is 1.8 billion is Tiger Woods' net worth according to Forbes.com.
Wow.
That's
1
disgusting.
point-
Yeah, that's
8
mental.
billion dollars.
So is this from one of their like top 100 lists?
Exactly
Yeah.
that. Can you guess who's number one? Tiger's second.
Is this out of sports people?
Yes.
Right.
Tiger's the second most valuable, or has the second sportsman with the greatest net worth.
Probably Michael Jordan.
Nailed it.
Well done.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So 1.8 billion, what would you do with that?
Oh,
I mean, obviously you give, in Tiger's case, a fair chunk away to your missus when you divorce and whatnot. But,
Jesus. Yeah.
and I suspect a fair amount to the tax man as well. But
Uh-huh.
1.8 billion, what would be the first thing you would go and buy if someone put
Jesus.
that in your bank account?
A golf course, maybe?
Your own golf course?
Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Just owning your own golf course. Then you could have like your own rules. Just do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, you're really not
Yeah.
a fan of the WHS.
No, no, it's not that.
Come and play my course. But
I
by
would-
the way, keep your Kongu and WHS out.
I wouldn't buy a handicap system, that's for sure.
No
Quick way to
stroke
lose money.
indexes on any
Yeah.
holes.
Maybe
James,
Cali
what about you?
Thistle. Sorry.
Cali
Maybe-
Thistle,
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
buy Cali Thistle. Yeah.
Help
One
them,
point
help
eight
them
need
out.
it.
Yeah,
Help them
we
out.
need the money. That'd be good.
Save the Cali Jags.
What would I do? I would do something really. I'd buy my parents a house. That's what I'd do. And then I would buy
Just the
Man
one?
United, and then I'd buy Man United and get them sorted.
Jim Ratcliffe had the same idea, not going so
No.
well.
Yeah.
What are you buying, Michael?
I am buying.
Augusta National.
I'm buying a boat. I'm
Right,
definitely buying
nice.
I'm buying,
Buying a boat.
like, but not like a really shitty little fishing boat. I'm
Mm.
going to buy like a Roman Abramovich style
Yeah.
All right.
yacht, super
Cool.
yacht.
Ooh.
I've always wanted a boat. I love boats. Grew up in an island. Boats are
Horse.
the
Where-
only mode of transport. So
Where would you have it docked?
what right now?
Yeah, you've got like all that money. Where would you have your boat?
Well,
What
it
part
needs
of
to be
the-
fairly close, wouldn't I? I mean, it's not like I'm going to fly to then sit
You're gonna
in
have
a
it sitting in the Clyde.
boat. Yeah, I would have it docked at Inverkip Arena. Just down at Greenock and then sail it up the west coast through villages and towns, etc.
Nice.
Now, I'd probably take it somewhere like, I don't know, Saint Tropez or something really obvious. like
Monte
that.
Carlo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monte
nice.
Carlo.
Yeah.
Shout.
Mm,
Thank
But
you.
no, I do. I like my boats. So
Nice.
probably one of those.
Fair enough.
Very cool.
Tiger wants to lend us a few quid. Then
And a
you can-
Greg's.
you can
I'd
do
buy a Greg's.
that. Out for lunch today.
Steak
Or
cake.
would you buy a Greg's, or would you just have
That's
a
what I mean. I
Greg's?
would buy a Greg's.
Or would you? All right,
I wouldn't,
okay,
it's
got
not
you.
like I would buy a Greg's lunch. I would go and buy a Greg's.
Yeah, understand.
That's what I mean. And would you have that Greg's in your home?
Oh,
Or on the boat.
on the boat. Yeah.
On the boat?
Yeah.
Portable
It'd be the
Greg's.
first at sea Greg's franchise. We are way down
Yeah,
a rabbit
miles
hole
off,
right now. It's far too early in the morning for any of that. But yeah, 1.8 billion. Well done, Tiger. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. Great for you.
Really pleased for you.
Yeah, good
Mhm.
one. Thanks.
Anyhow, right, we've got to throw it to a break just there. More to come in part 2, where we've got to discuss a few things, not least Donald Trump and a brand new golf course up in the Highlands as well. Our resident Highlander Lewis will be telling us a bit more about that. Plus, Positive Merit, big update there, big movement following the most recent events, and Bare Lies. Lewis has concocted something for us, I gather. So stand by for that. Do not go anywhere.
Tee off with our exclusive Hot Eagle breaks at McDonald's Golf Hotels and Resorts, including Spey Valley Aviemore and Cardrona Resort in Peebles, both recent hosts of the Tartan Pro Tour, with stunning locations and a championship golf course featured at both 4-star hotels. One-night golf breaks from only £95 per person at Cardrona and £115 per person at Spey Valley. Be flexible on date and get the best rate, but be an early birdie. Limited spaces available. Search McDonald's Hot Eagle breaks for more.
Welcome back. Part 2 of this week's Bunkered podcast in association with Callaway Golf. Michael, James and Lewis here with you. If you're listening along, thank you very much. Hope we've got you in your car and whatnot, or maybe in the shower with you. That would be nice. Ooh. Or if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. Couple of plugs before we get going with the rest of the show. Now, here's an interesting one. Who wants to come and work with us? There is a job available right now, and it could be you.
Could be you.
It could be you. We are looking for a content creator to come and join our ever-expanding team, and you'll be working alongside, well, these two fine gents to begin with. And over there in the corner, very quietly staring at the screen, producer Dex, you'll be working alongside him too. We're looking for someone who can add to our team and help us produce more of the content that has won us quite a few awards in the last few years. So yeah, if you're the kind of person who wants to cover Rory winning the career Grand Slam one day and then a golf course closure the next, please do get in touch. All of the details are on the DC Thompson website. Alternatively, drop me a DM if you want to find out more. My DMs are open, both on LinkedIn. That's the first time I've mentioned LinkedIn on this show.
Oh, God, we're finished.
We've become like the Stephen Bartlett CEO podcast
do that,
in the blink of an eye. We'll take his audience, but not so much the content. Or maybe like the High Performance podcast with Jake Humphrey. Every time I think of Jake Humphrey, I think of the Martin Keown incident. Where, I mean, you must have seen this in BT Sport, but Jake Humphrey, for those of you who don't know, slightly smarmy, very cheesy TV presenter, covers a lot of sport. He was the main guy on BT Sport before it became TNT and he ejected. But there was one time that he was speaking with Martin Keown, ex of Arsenal. He was wrapping up the show and he made some glib comment that was quite cheeky about Martin Keown having just made it in time for the cameras rolling.
Right.
And Keown didn't really... Did he decide, I'm going to take you down here, or did he just have a sense of humour bypass? But he said, well, the thing is, Jake, someone jumped in front of the train. What was I meant to do?
Oh, no, don't
And it was the most awkward moment you've ever seen on TV.
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
Yeah, poor Jake. Poor Jake. But
That's
yeah,
tough.
he's got his podcast, the High Performance one.
Yeah.
Can't say I've ever listened.
No.
And if you haven't listened, then you may be the perfect person to come and work with Bunkered. So, yeah, look, the advert is live for another 10 days or so. But it's a really cool job. You'll get to do a lot of really cool stuff. You listening to this could be the next Bunkered employee. You could be the next apprentice. So, yeah, get in touch if you're interested.
You're hired.
This task's been a bloody disaster. That's, by the way,
that was
that's
all right.
decent.
Yeah, it was decent.
Lord Sugar.
Lord Sugar. You're the same height.
We're looking for 2 new content creators.
Michael's not sitting down, he's actually standing up.
Oh, that's harsh.
Right.
Also, our latest edition is hitting newsstands and doormats this week. It's got Rory McIlroy on the cover. Of course it does. Why have we got Rory on the cover? Why are we still talking about the Masters when, we're moving on to other majors and the Masters is over a month ago? It's pretty simple. It is legitimate sporting history that Rory made at Augusta. If you can't celebrate that, if you can't put that in your front cover, what the hell can you put on your cover? So we've got 16 pages inside the latest edition, looking back on Rory's win, looking about what might be next for him and all that sort of stuff. For me, it's the best cover we've ever done. I know I'm biased, but I really think our designer, Steve, has just done an extraordinary job. You're going to see it on the newsstands wherever you are. But better yet, just take out a subscription and you'll never miss another edition of the magazine. In fact, I can assure you the next cover is going to be every bit as good because I recorded the interview with our cover star just this morning and kind of a big deal. So you're going to love that too. If you want a subscription, go to the DC Thompson shop or bunker.co.uk/sub offer. Various offers there available for you. And yes, international subscriptions are available. think that covers the plugs.
Yeah, I think so. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Do you okay?
Buy the magazine, get a job.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
Sorted.
Come and join us on our Greg's franchised yacht.
Yes. Yeah.
Before we move into these other points here, gents, because I just take a second and go off script for a minute.
Go on.
How good was it to see Chris Wood
Brilliant.
doing as well as he did in Turkey over the weekend? There's a guy who's had, quite a number of struggles over the past few years, has really toiled with chronic anxiety, and finishing in the top 10, a really emotional interview with Sky Sports afterwards as well. Genuinely one of the good guys is Chris Wood. Look at the places he's won as well, the things he's done. He's won at Wentworth. He's played in the Ryder Cup. Classy golfer. Was a couple of swings away from winning an Open as an amateur, I believe he was.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he's had a rough time over the last few years, but he seems to be turning a bit of a corner.
Yeah,
just now,
hopefully.
which is great to see.
Really nice to see that, because clearly he's had an incredibly difficult time. He's been very open about what he said about that too. I think from what he's saying, that he was trying to struggle through the difficulties that he was having, and it just wasn't working, and things were getting worse. So he kind of just had to stop playing and got help for the issues that he's had, and clearly that's helped turn things around, which is great. So yeah, really, really good to see.
And it'll be an ongoing thing as well.
Yeah.
Look, I kind of admitted or owned up to it on social media yesterday after watching his interview. I've struggled with the same stuff. I mean, anxiety is a real thing. It's a debilitating condition. It strikes you when you least expect it as well. You have little peaks and troughs, and sometimes really deep troughs and really big peaks. And it's a hard thing to deal with, but it's not something that should ever go unspoken. I give Chris Wood enormous credit for speaking up and putting it out there. Mental health's a really weird space for a lot of people. Some people just resist it and don't want to talk about it and feel really uncomfortable. Other people do want to talk about it and feel the need to open up. I guess the point I'm making here is that if you're struggling, like Chris Wood has, or if you've got any issues going on, all of our DMs are open. And we like to think we're building a nice community with Bunkered. So reach out, let us know how you are. If you're struggling or whatever it might be, we're always happy to lend an ear for whatever that's worth. Sometimes speaking to a stranger can help. So
absolutely.
We're always around to support if you need it. And golf, pretty good medicine as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you this morning. Like for me, it's like I suffer with anxiety as well, but I know that the best kind of medicine for me is just being out on the golf course. Now, sometimes when you're hitting balls into trees and stuff, like maybe it doesn't seem like that, but
that peaks the anxiety.
Exactly, 100%. But it is. I agree. It is the best medicine for me, and probably for you watching and you listening.
Absolutely right. Well said. So let's move on. A couple of other points we need to cover quickly, gentlemen. We can't ignore this one. Donald Trump has finally got his DP World Tour event that he's been looking for. Not a major yet.
No.
Yet, I hasten to add.
Okay.
But, trade deals and negotiations, who's to say it won't happen? Give me the Open, I'll give you the deal you want. He's got a DP World Tour event. The Scottish Championship will be taking place at his Aberdeenshire resort a little bit later this year. Let's do something right now, and let's just draw a line under Donald Trump the person and Donald Trump the politician, because you can get into uncharted territory
Could be here
if you go down there. And yes, that's a different podcast. I would say he doesn't do bad golf courses, and if you separate the man and the name, that course in Aberdeen is well worthy of hosting some of the best players. And it's going to be really interesting for me to see how it copes with having a big tour event. It obviously has had some experience with the Legends Tour, with the PGA Seniors Championship, but I imagine the Scottish Championship, particularly given the lack of tour golf in Scotland this year, no Open, no Senior Open, for example, it'll be interesting to see how many people go along and how that bit of land copes, because those dunes, the great dunes, are, I don't know, I'm not sure, are they set up to deal with heavy football?
No. James will be able to speak.
Yeah,
you've played it, James, haven't you?
I played it a few times, and one thing I will agree with is, like, put the person aside, Donald Trump makes phenomenal golf courses. Like, he just does. He just gets that side of it. And obviously Aberdeen is phenomenal. Like, it is an unbelievable course. It's very difficult because if you miss the fairway, you're not in the rough. You're in the dunes and you're reaching for another ball half the time. But saying that, I am a bit concerned where the fans are going to go, because it's not set up for spectators at all. So it'll be really interesting to see how, like you said, how it will handle, bigger crowds. Because in my head, I'm just kind of wondering, it's like, where the heck are people? Where are they going to go? Because it is so up and down.
I guess at that point though, that's not a unique challenge for Aberdeen. I mean, Royal County Down springs to mind in terms of a place that's got a dramatic dunescape. They'll fit them in. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. I just wonder how it's all going to come together and what it's going to look like. Also wondered about the field as well, because that's a busy time of year. But Lewis, I mean, it's pretty cool to know that an event's going to go there and to have these questions, because for a while it looked like it was going to be just an exceptional golf course that didn't get the tournament that the golf course, I have to be clear again, that the golf course deserves.
Definitely. Yeah, it looks an incredible golf course. Like, you guys have played it and it looks unbelievable. So if the owner wasn't a part of it, then this would have had an event like this long before, I would imagine. So yeah, it'll be really cool to see how the guys compete around there. I think it will get a good crowd because, like you say, there's a lack of tour golf in Scotland at the moment, especially up in Aberdeen. Like, crowds, people are mad for the golf up there, so they will come out and watch it. So yeah, exciting
to stop.
That's true as well.
I can say that. I was born there. All right, calm down.
No, that's fine. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Hopefully they get a good week weather-wise for it. That's a big...
I hope they don't. I genuinely hope it blows. I hope it, the rain comes down, because that's proper golf.
That's what we want to see, I suppose. Yeah,
I hope they get all 4 seasons up there and see how they cope with it, because wind up in Aberdeen, as you know, is brutal. Imagine that wind off the sea.
That's why my hair is the way it is.
Right, okay.
I know. Don't dare just whoa. That's enough out of you. Bear in mind, second golf course opening there as well around the same time.
Yeah, of course.
And from what I have seen, the pictures I've seen,
looks phenomenal.
I think it's going to be better than the first. Just my take.
Yeah.
So yes, the old course will be hosting the Scottish Championship. The new course will be hosting something else, I'm pretty sure, before too long. I guess the question is, does this, I'm not going to say olive branch, but does this willingness to work with Trump in the UK, the DP World Tour has shown, could that possibly be the first step towards Turnberry finally getting back on the rota? I mean, it seems like they're striking a different tone now, the RNA. Mark Darbon seems to be a bit more conciliatory in terms of the language he's using towards Donald Trump and Turnberry than his predecessor, Martin Slumbers, was. Lewis, what do you think?
Possibly. I still think we're quite a bit away from that at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how things go during the week, because there's not really been much, there's been no uproar that this has been announced, but it's very different when it comes to actually players being there. So if it goes smoothly, I think that could help. Equally, if there's trouble around protesters or something like that, that could be a big blocker. So I think it's going to be an important week for seeing if Turnberry can sort of get back in the rota here. But I think we're a bit away
Trump's
from it.
less of a problem, as in Donald Trump is less of a problem for the RNA than the fact is that Turnberry Opens don't make much money.
Right.
And the last time the Open was there, 2009, the attendance across the week was 123,000.
Yeah.
I mean, this year we're talking about 267,000 going to Portrush. And that's been consistent now for a few years. So north of 220, 230. It's like that because the RNA needs to make money from the Open. It's if it's not their only profitable event, it's one of a handful.
Right.
And it makes a ton of money. And what does RNA need? Money to then spread around the world. You take the USA and I think Mexico out of the equation because the USGA governs that.
Yeah.
The RNA's got responsibility for the rest of the world. Grassroots golf in Estonia, in Ethiopia, and yes, in England and Scotland and Wales and so on. So it's an awful lot of ground to cover. It needs a lot of money to do it. And an Open that doesn't make money doesn't make much sense from that point of view.
Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. And if crowd sizes, if they have to reduce the size of the crowd to have the event there, then that becomes very difficult because, like you say, they need money, and if they're not going to make money from an event there, it's tricky.
Ask yourself this, right?
Go on.
When you're watching the Open at Portrush this year, and I think it was noticeable even last year, the grandstands around the 18th and the grandstands in general, you'd think they could get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But they're not.
No.
I've got a hunch. My hunch is that the RNA don't necessarily want people sitting in grandstands because, again, they need to maximise the profit.
Yeah.
So what's a sitting customer not doing?
Buying anything.
Spot on. Not out there spending money. But if you have them moving around.
That's clever, isn't it?
Tell you what, by the way,
Yeah.
not just a hat stand.
No.
Probably massively wrong as well. It could
Well,
just
you
be a
never
case
know.
of
Yeah.
planning won't allow any more seats. But
Unbelievable mistake.
Tell you.
Yeah, you could be onto something there.
could be.
Yeah.
Could
You're
be.
on to a winner.
Anyway, we'll see.
Mm,
I'd love
cool.
to see the Ailsa course host the Open again.
Yeah.
I get the challenges,
Mhm.
the myriad challenges, but as a golf course,
Phenomenal.
there's not many better, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Speaking of golf courses and
Mhm.
great places to play, Lewis, a question here for you.
Yes.
Royal Dornoch, which, if you're listening to this in the States or Australia or Argentina even, you've probably heard of Royal Dornoch, a very special place right up in the Highlands of Scotland, where you grew up,
Yes.
frankly, Lewis. I was surprised with this last week. I knew nothing of it. This kind of blindsided us. Royal Dornoch's getting a new golf course.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Good question. I was blindsided as well.
No talk amongst the Invernessian community or
Not that I
anything, no?
heard. Maybe I'm a bit out of the loop being
Okay.
living down in Glasgow now. But yeah, new golf course. So from what I understand, it's going like beside the Struy course. So that's
Which
sort
is
of
the second course,
That's
right?
the second one, the smaller one. So they've got the championship course, the Struy course, and then there's going to be a new course built beside that. There's clearly big things going on there because there's a new clubhouse that'll be ready like tail end of this year, going behind the first tee of the current championship course. So yeah, going to be 3 golf courses at Royal Dornoch, which is amazing.
That is
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're also getting a second golf course at Castle Stewart
Mhm.
near Inverness opening this year.
Yep.
There's still talk about the possibility of cool links, which has been mired in red tape and whatnot for years. There's still talk that that could happen. The Highlands seems to be the place to go to build golf courses.
It is.
I have to ask, why?
I think there's big market for visitors coming. So I've seen that as a caddy, like Americans, there's mostly Americans, let's be honest, come over and will spend a lot of time in the Highlands. And if there's more golf courses, they're going to spend longer there.
Yeah.
There is a market for that. See it at Cabot Highlands where Castle Stewart is second golf course. They're hoping that those people will spend a lot longer or spend, even a couple extra nights to play that course. Royal Dornoch are clearly thinking the same, that in the past, people would go maybe up to Dornoch for one day and play the championship course there. They might play Brora as well, and then they'd come back down south. Whereas now, if there's another golf course that's of similar quality, they might
just stay there.
Yeah, they might stay there for 2 or 3 nights and
Yeah.
play Brora, Golspie, 10, whatever else it is. So
Now, I have
people-
to ask, joining up that conversation,
Mm.
is this part of the Trump effect? Because he put that golf course in Aberdeen 10, 12, 13 years ago. And you're talking about the American market coming over.
Yeah.
If the Americans are coming over to play Donald Trump's course in Aberdeen, they're not just going to play that and go home again.
No.
So I get that, Inverness, it's not right next door to Aberdeen. I understand that.
Mhm.
But again, Americans
Relatively
will,
speaking, if you
Americans
come
will
from
drive
America-
3-4 hours
Yeah.
quite happily
Yeah.
and not think about it. And you're right, if you're coming from America, why not?
Mhm.
So is this a bit of a Trumpification of Scotland's Highlands and Northeast going on?
Possibly. There might be a little bit of that. But I think Americans are coming to St. Andrews first and foremost
Yeah.
to play the courses there. And probably even before Trump, they were going to Aberdeen to play Royal Aberdeen, Cruden Bay, and they'd still have gone
But not
to...
in such numbers, though.
Possibly not. Yeah.
I can
So,
speak on that a little bit more confidently. 'Cause
go on.
Here we
Right,
go.
okay, expert
'Cause
opinion.
He
go on
says,
then.
spreading
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah,
Let
go
me
on,
tell you
yeah,
a
no.
story.
I've got a story for you boys. No, so I used to caddy in St. Andrews as well, and that was one of the things.
Hang on, has everyone here caddied? Dex, have you caddied? Oh, a little bit.
Dex is
Am
giving
I
it
the
a
only
nap.
one?
Yeah.
How's it look?
So caddying in St. Andrews, like Luce was saying, like the Americans come over and always the general chat, so where are you playing, what you doing? A lot of them would do the usual. It'd be like St. Andrews, Kingsbarns, Dunbarney, going across the Muirfield. But then it started to become more kind of apparent that when Trump's place opened up in Aberdeen, like, oh yeah, like we've done around here, but we really want to spend more time in the Highlands. We're going to go play Trump, Royal Dornoch, Cruden Bay, Royal Aberdeen. Started to spend a lot more time up there. So yes, St. Andrews was like on the bucket list, but Americans are mad for the Scottish Highlands. So going up over there, it just seemed to kind of gravitate. So I think on your point, has Trump's course kind of solidified and made it more of a popular destination, which is why maybe there's more courses obviously becoming readily available and to play. I think it's definitely helped massively, I would say.
Okay, interesting. Any news, Lewis, on when that new course at Dornoch's going to open? Any idea?
That's a good point. I don't think they had a date for it. Coming
TBC.
years, TBC. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you don't want to put too much pressure in these things. It's difficult.
Just open it when it's ready, lads.
Yeah, just when it's ready.
We're in no rush.
Don't need a date for that. Yeah, I think one at Cabot Highlands is opening.
Old Petty, is
Old
it?
Petty.
Love that name.
This year.
Oh, nice.
Drove past it yesterday, and it is incredible. If that is open like this year, I have confidence that it will be, but it looks nothing like a golf course at the moment.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm just driving like passing the road, sort of, looking out the window. But
It's amazing how quickly these things come together.
yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right, gents, we're running out of time. Let's move on to Podder of Merit. The last episode we were previewing the Chevron Championship. James, you went with Charlie Hull, which looked on paper like a great shout, but difficult week for Charlie.
Yeah.
The major weight goes on. She missed the cut. I went with Lydia Ko, medal slam winner, lest we forget Lydia Ko. Oh, Lydia, what you doing to me? Tied 52nd. Better than you, but
Made
not
the
as
cut.
good as Lewis,
No.
who went with, so imaginative, Nelly Corda, who finished in a tie for 14th. Gents, across the board, not our best week.
No.
Not
Tied 14th, all right.
Yeah.
If that's good enough for you, Lewis.
Yeah, it is.
And
That
Nelly
actually
Corda-
was good enough for the points.
It was.
Yeah, Nelly Corda just made the cut.
She did, yeah. Scraped
Yeah,
through
it's great
weekend. And then
Could have been with me, Lewis, at one point.
I was thinking it was going to happen.
Yeah, so did
Yeah.
I. I was
Yeah.
like,
Anyhow, 2 points for Lewis, 1 for me. James, nada. As it stands, James, you're on 7 points. Lewis, you're now just 1 behind on 6.
Gaining.
And I'm on
Trending.
2.
Trending.
So
Trending
pick
Podder
order
of
for
Merit.
the PGA Championship. Say trending one more time. You're never coming back on the show. PGA Championship pick order. Lewis, it's you first. Then me. James, you're bringing up the rear. Go for it, Lewis.
Excellent. I'm taking Rory McIlroy.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
Mm.
obviously. Again, not very imaginative. Sorry about that. But he's won 4 times at this golf course. I think he will quite possibly
For all
make
the
that.
reasons stated in part 1.
Yes, will quite possibly make that 5. If he doesn't, I think he'll be quite close to it and might get me more points. So yeah, taking Rory.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. I am going to go with guy who's really rediscovered his best stuff. He was tied 2nd at the weekend at the Truist. He won the RBC Heritage. His last 2 starts have gone 1, tied 2nd. And I believe I'm right in saying that he won the PGA last time it was at Quail Hollow.
2017.
Justin Thomas for me, please.
Yep.
Justin Thomas for the win.
I
Look,
hate-
he's
I
back
hate-
playing his best stuff,
He is.
and God
Yeah.
knows the USA could do with somebody else in addition to Scheffler
Yeah.
playing some amazing golf in a Ryder Cup year.
Mm,
I don't think they'll be looking for Andrew Novak on that 12-man team.
no,
Who knows? Maybe they are.
maybe.
But yeah, Thomas for me. James, have I just ruined?
Yeah,
your-
you've scuppered him. Now
I
he's
have.
raging.
You have. I'm absolutely furious. But I'm going to go with my second pick, and that is Mr. Ludwig Obert.
Okay. Yeah, decent.
I just think he's got a phenomenal record, obviously, and he's playing some very good golf at the minute. And I just think the way that kind of course is kind of set up, his ability to drive the ball well, his iron play, I think he's gonna do well. I think he's got a very good chance, but he's got to go up against Rory McIlroy and informed Justin Thomas as well, who's already won there.
We might have missed a trick
What a
here,
waffly
James.
bunch of shite that
Yeah.
was, by the way.
Yeah.
With the American trend, though, I think we've missed a trick here.
Xander.
Well,
No.
You're defending
gone-
champ. We've not
you-
even spoken about him.
you've gone with an American. We haven't. And what Americans have won the last 10 PGAs? 9?
Certainly
Oh,
back to
yeah.
Jason Day in
Yeah.
2015.
Right, okay.
Ludwig
So
Obert
you're
all
both
day.
imagining that's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about the defending champ, Xander.
Mm.
I think he's got his best stuff at the moment.
He's just
Colin
kinda-
Morikawa, another guy who maybe due one. He's
Yep.
won it before, so
Potter's
why
cold.
not? It is,
Mm.
it is mega cold
Yeah.
just now, isn't it?
It's in Siberia.
Yeah, so when they go to TPC Siberia, they might have a
Yeah.
chance. I keep saying it. Take the PGA around the world.
Yeah.
People would enjoy it.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
It's a global PGA, is it
Mhm.
not?
Scottish Islands.
Maybe that's
yeah,
the plan.
maybe that is the plan. Yeah. Sorry, I've just revealed that.
There you go.
Saying that I'm out of the loop. That's actually what's going
Royal
on.
Dornoch will be fuming at
Yeah.
that embargo having been broken. Right, okay, so that is our picks for the PGA Championship this week. Rory for Lewis, Justin Thomas for yours truly, and Ludwig Obry for James.
Obert.
Right, let's finish up with Bear Lies. Lewis, your turn this week to see if you can fool James and I.
No fooling going on. No fooling going on at all.
Oh, telling the truth.
Yes.
Right, go for it. What you got?
On my first attempt at playing the old course, I had to apologise to the group in front of me after I nearly hit one of them off the 18th tee.
Well, you didn't drive it into them, that's for certain. I mean, he's not got that carry in him. Unless the group was like just walking across the Swilcan Bridge and, you know, you might have got close to them then.
Was the group coming towards you teeing off the first tee, or was it the actual group in front of you?
No, it was the group.
Ah, what a shout.
It was the group that had been in front of us all day. So they were playing the 18th.
Okay.
When did all this happen?
This was the media day for the AIG Women's Open. So that would have been last year, or was it 2 years ago? Losing track of the years.
You're the one who did it, eh?
Yeah.
See,
did you not?
See, it doesn't seem like it's that unusual. People who listen to this going, I nearly hit into people all the time. But Lewis, for anyone who's watched our YouTube videos, will know.
Didn't think it would turn into
if you look at his numbers, Lewis isn't exactly the biggest hitter on the planet.
No.
I mean, James is quite literally one of the biggest hitters on the planet.
And give you a bit more of like background as to how
if he's like the English Premier League of big hitting, you're like the Vanarama North Division, fighting for relegation. So, it would seem to me that you driving into the group in front, it either needs to be that you've misjudged and haven't seen one of them walking out, or that it's been really firm and fast and fiery. And I can't think of the last time that there was a media day at the old course that was like that.
So what happened? They'd been in front of us the whole. They weren't like holding us up or anything, but I hit into them because I thought that they were finished, but I just got confused with people crossing the on the road.
Wine.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And
Granny Clark's Wine's how far off?
Yes, I can.
It must be about 250 off the tee.
Come on.
Not sure he's got that in his life.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's 370 off the tee.
Yeah.
360 something.
They weren't on the green.
It's 23 mile an hour club head speed's not going to generate the kind of distance.
Are you going to take that, Lewis?
It very nearly hit the guy. Like the person in front, must have been like a few feet away from hitting him, and he gave it the old like this. And I was
what
like,
are you
I'm
doing?
so sorry.
Oh, really? Arms waving?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rightly so. I'm quite embarrassed by it.
He was fuming.
I had to go before I hit my putt on 18. I had to go up the steps towards the clubhouse and say, like, "I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that you were there."
How did he take it? Was he still fuming?
He wasn't fuming, but he wasn't exactly going in and buying me a pint straight away.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him, man. I nearly hit him. For no good reason.
What, full toss or had it bounced?
It was close to full toss, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it could have been really bad. Not a place you want to hit someone in the most famous fairway in golf.
Where, in relation to the 18th, where was he? Was he across Granny Clark's Wind on the other side? Like, how short of the green were you?
This side of it.
He was just on this side of it. He was sort of middle of the fairway, just this side of the road.
That could make some sense, because if he's middle of the fairway, then Lewis is taking dead aim at the clock on the clubhouse wall, and he's a very straight hitter.
Yeah.
Like short, but annoyingly straight. So that would make some sense.
Where was the wind?
Oh, I can't remember the wind. It wasn't windy.
Did you have a caddy?
No. One of the members of our group, who's Martin Dempster, I love Martin. Yeah? He played it quite a few times, so he was sort of acting as caddy. And he said it was fine to go. Not blaming Martin.
All right.
Just throwing him right under the bus.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Martin. He was great to play with. I don't know if I think he said that it was fine and I hit. And then as soon as I hit it, I saw the ball fly and I was like, they're still there. So I shouted 4 and he was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you hitting when I'm still here? Which is understandable. Guy's trying to take his time because he's playing one of the most famous holes on the planet.
I mean, I think it's open and shut for me. You absolutely did do that. There's no
owning up to it.
I think there's no doubt you did that.
I don't know. I'm in two minds because I know how short Lewis hits it.
I know.
But saying that, in his defense, that landing spot before Granny Clark's Wind, there's a lot of undulation, and if you hit the right spot, it does shoot forward.
Yeah, it was full toss.
Full toss.
Yeah.
See, that's the only part.
No, that's a lie.
I still think it's true. You can.
I'm gonna go lie. I think
it's true.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
bad? I'm quite embarrassed by it. Yeah.
He was fuming, was he?
He wasn't fuming. If he was, he certainly didn't let on to me, but rightly so. I would have
Another
been
media
happy
member,
if-
was it?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
And how, so
I'm not sure
presumably
who it
you've seen him
was.
since.
I actually don't know who it was. I probably have
Right,
seen
okay.
it. Yeah,
The
it's
guy
maybe-
giving you evils at every
Yeah.
event you've
it's
been
quite
to
possibly
since.
just avoided me. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Have you ever hit somebody with a golf ball?
no, no, I haven't.
No?
I've been hit by Rory McIlroy. Which,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's the only time I've ever been hit or hit someone.
What about you, James? You must have hit a few people.
Weirdly, I've never hit anyone. But
What?
I
They're too
yeah,
far away for you to realise that you've hit them.
You can't see
The
them.
ambulance has been and gone.
It's usually flying over their heads, to be honest.
Yeah, all right.
No, I've been hit before where someone has been playing back into the sun, snap hooked it, lost sight of it, and it's come at me at literally what felt, I must have only been about 14, but it felt like a million miles an hour. One bounce skid off a
Jeez.
downslope on the Eden on the third, bang right into the side of my leg.
Oh, no way.
And I was effing and blinded at this point.
I've only ever hit one person, and this sounds like a bare lies, but I promise it's true. I've only ever hit one person, and it was my mum.
Really?
Genuinely, yeah.
Oh, no.
We've got a bit of land.
With a golf ball.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We've got a... This sounds incredibly hoity-toity. I can assure you it's not, but we've got some land down at Culzean Castle near Turnberry, and we were down there one time when I was about 14, and there was just
Some
golf
land.
clubs kicking around, and
Lord McEwen.
Yeah. Got some
listen,
land.
there's a side to me you've not yet seen,
No.
gents.
Laird McEwen.
Yeah, Viscount. Baron McEwen. But yeah, we were down there, and Mum
With
and
the
Dad Mum and Dad were about 30 yards away, looking at a tree that had needed to come down that had partly fallen. And
Was that the apple tree, was it?
Let him tell the story. Come on.
can I finish, for fuck's sake? Hurry up. So, yeah, I had this golf club that was there, and I just put a ball down, and I didn't see them, so I just took a swing with like this 7-iron. It was one of my power thins, and it went
Nice.
straight up into the trees, and it smacked my mum on the shoulder. So as I say, she's about 30 yards away. Had it been 6 inches higher and a couple inches to the left,
Side of the head.
probably killed her.
Temple.
Jeez,
She was so angry. Like,
yeah.
I've never, ever, ever heard language like that. from
Really?
any- Oh, just unbelievable. She didn't speak to me for a couple of days.
Mm.
And even now, she's still got a little bit of a bee in her bonnet about me and golf generally. I've made it my
Right.
career for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
She's just like,
One
"Me
time
and
you
golf."
hit her. It was
Yeah.
very sore though.
Oh,
Yeah.
but by the way, like the bruise was
Oh, it would have been mental.
Power
horrific.
thin as well. Those
Straight
things
onto
go
the bone.
fast.
You could read Max Fly backwards on her shoulder blades.
Oh
But
dear.
yeah. Anyway,
There
nice
we
one,
have it.
Lewis. Well done.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Next
it wasn't
time,
well
did
done
you
at
at least shout for?
I hit it and quickly realised what I'd done, so I shouted for. Yeah,
good.
It's like hands and head scenario.
You must have a
Brilliant.
you must have a good shout on you from being a caddy.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it right now.
I
but
don't.
yeah,
I
do have
don't
a good
buy
shout.
it.
No,
I
I
don't
do.
buy it.
Oh yeah,
You're
I've got
such a
good shout.
quiet,
He's
collected
so
individual.
quiet. Lewis likes to make out he's got this mental temper, and
He's
now
got this
apparently
megaphone of a four shout.
just I'm just not buying it.
No,
I'm sorry.
okay.
No,
I'll show you
that
next
is a
time we
lie.
play. Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. this
Thank
week.
you.
Thank
As
you.
always, looking forward to the PGA. Should be a fun week, but more importantly, I'm looking forward to you winning your
Yeah. Come on.
long drive event.
Thank you
James.
very much.
Don't come back if you don't.
No.
Next week, I
All
want
right.
to see a trophy sitting in this space
Mm.
between us. Put that in the broadcast.
There we go.
So yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to you for listening, as always, and for watching if you were. Thank you, Callaway, for your continued support. We'll be back again this time next week. Oh, of course, how could I forget? Producer Dex, thanks for your work. We'll be back again this time next week, where we will be debriefing the PGA Championship and looking ahead to whatever else comes next. Until then, it's bye-bye for now.